Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the AEW Dynamite review show here on the Modcast. Last time we were, gracing your ears with our lovely voices, we were talking about Forbidden Door. Today we're talking about the first post Forbidden Door Dynamite and the first in this residency up in Philadelphia. That Dory, you're going to, aren't you?
I am.
Uh,
I will be there next week for Dynamite and Collision / Dean. So I'm very excited. I won't be there for Death Before Dishonor or Collision this week. Just couldn't afford it. But I'm really excited to spend a few days in Philadelphia. I love Philadelphia. I've been 3 or 4 times. I love going every time. Great food, lots of great places to go check out. I'm really excited to have a couple days to actually go around Philadelphia and explore and shit like that. And I love cheesesteaks and bagels, so Philadelphia is great. It's similar size to Boston, so I feel kind of in a weird way. I kind of feel at home with the size of it.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. I mean, you don't live in Boston, though.
No, I used to. I grew up around Boston, so that's kind of my reference point for big cities. I live in the biggest city in New Hampshire, but it feels utterly paltry compared to where I spent most of my life, which was around Boston. So
Now I'm just going to look up if I live in a bigger city than you do.
oh, okay.
Manchester has a population of 115,000. Yeah, my city's bigger. Haha.
I mean, I'm
Um,
not surprised.
there.
It's fucking New Hampshire.
Yeah, I mean, I live in the third largest city in Wales. I believe it has in fact, I could check that it has a population of
Oh, Philadelphia
160,000.
Philadelphia is actually a lot bigger than Boston. It doesn't feel like that, but I guess it is. But Philadelphia has 142.7 square miles, while Boston has 48. Uh, and then
People
has
don't count square miles. It's like I've been to Massachusetts. I know how absolutely balkanized the suburbs are. But that is neither here
sure.
nor there. Jesus fucking Christ, that is a phenomenal tangent to get off with. Um,
Right off the gate.
like
Right off the
Jesus
gate.
Christ. All that to say, you're going to the show in Philadelphia
Yes, and
next
I'm
week.
very excited
Um,
about it. This was an amazing crowd, and I will make it even better next week by, I don't know, yelling something like Adam sucks dick affectionate or something.
yeah, well, I'll be in Greece, so I won't be watching live anyway. So you go to your heart's content. Um, yeah, special programming note for the podcast. We're not here next week.
No.
Dory's
Between me being
Dory's
in
there.
Philly and him and Adam being in Greece, there's just no way.
Yeah, so we'll be taking a week's sojourn away, and then we'll be back the week after. But that's neither here nor there. Uh, Special note on the arena. I've heard people saying that it wasn't sort of the feeling of the original ECW arena anymore. It was a glorified warehouse nowadays. And if that's true, I have no reference point for it. Then kudos to AEW for setting it up in a way that felt very unique, and it did have the vibes of like an old school show to me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I never went to any of the ECW shows. I barely went to any WWE shows. Um, but I mean, from what I've seen from ECW pay-per-views, I definitely feel and the few shows and stuff like that I've seen going back, looking back on it online. It looked close enough to kind of evoke the spirit of it, even if it wasn't exactly the same, right? They didn't have the brick wall, they didn't have fucking Joey Styles. I think we'll be okay without him. But they didn't have fucking Joey Styles or the cold open or whatever. So
Yeah, I mean, obviously they've gutted the balconies from it in
right,
a truly baffling decision. Not AEW, I mean whoever owns the fucking arena, and also
right,
their scabs. Fuck them.
yep,
Um, but all in all, all just to say, I really like the setup. The crowd was amazing all night.
yes,
If that is the baseline that we could expect from these crowds, this residency is going to be very, very exciting. And if this is the baseline quality of programming that we could expect, then this is going to be phenomenal. Because all throughout, I thought this was a really excellent show.
yeah. I thought this was really great. I had a lot of fun with it. Really enjoyed watching it, and just a lot of exciting segments and exciting matches. Just good stuff all around.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it started off, I think it started off with FTR and Big Stoke coming down to the ring. You saw Dax and Cash like properly get in people's faces,
Yes.
right? I saw that Dax was trying to sort of rage bait this guy, and he was having none of it. But Cash, the guy in the FedEx shirt, was properly having a go at him. Which I thought, good on you, mate. But also, of the two, I feel like Cash Wheel is the one I wouldn't want to have the most smoke with. We know he has priors, um, but regardless, I thought that was a really nice guy. I also left right from the bat, Dax's mic didn't work, which meant in the ECW arena we were 1 minute into the show and you get Dax sort of on a semi-live mic going, "Get me another fucking mic," which I thought, yeah, great, that's perfectly in the spirit.
It really is.
Um,
Both the VCW and AEW.
Yeah. ECW for not giving a shit about swear words, and AEW for having audio issues. But oh well. They basically, I mean, the promo itself was mainly just having to go at Paul Turner, which isn't done enough.
Yeah, I
I
was
don't know what you.
wondering. No, sorry. I thought you were going to say something else. I was wondering if what Dax and Cash said was true, that Bandito wasn't the legal guy. I don't fucking know. And it doesn't really matter because they're heels. They could just be, they could just be making shit up. But like, I don't remember that being the case. It could be the case. I'm not sure. I didn't know if you remembered one way or the other.
I can confirm that being in the arena, we all completely lost track of all of that.
Okay, great.
It's entirely possible that one of the Hurt Syndicate guys was the legal man and was promptly booted out of the arena.
Oh yeah, that would make sense because they were technically the legal man, and then Bandito Brodito took over, and yeah, okay, gotcha.
But it's neither here nor there. Put it
Right.
this way: if they
Wow.
actually
We're gonna
turned
get a
around and
neither
said,
here nor there counter going.
"I'm sorry, shut up. Why would you make me self? Why would you make me self-conscious about that in the middle of the podcast? Fuck
I'm
you."
sorry, you said it like 3 times and we only just started. I thought it was funny. I wasn't trying to make fun of
I'm
you.
Oh well, whatever. It's neither here nor fuck.
So anyway, yeah, this was really good. Dax said it was a miscarriage of justice. The crowd was giving them all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Dax was like, "Can you imagine going home to your wife and kid and telling them you failed at your job because of an incompetent moron?" I love that somebody in the chat that I was in was like, "Wait, didn't he call his daughter a brat?" But anyway, but yeah, then You Think You Know Me started, and oh my god.
See, this is the thing, right? There are a few people online, a few sort of, I don't know what to call them, that treat Adam Copeland as this sort of harbinger of all things, shit about AEW and go back to WWE, you're a fedhead, whatever. First of all, fuck off. Like, sincerely fuck off. Because I think he's been doing some really good work. I think that reaction is entirely and wholly from the Mox feud at the start of the year. And before then and since then, he's been doing some really good work. And two, you cannot deny the people in the arena go absolutely nuclear for him. And I've been, I was at Forbidden Door last week. You should have heard them. I mean, you did hear them, but like in the arena,
Right.
fucking hell, deafening. Wow, am I being interrupted? How dare
No,
you?
sorry, my phone's volume was on. I had to send him some
Wow.
money to a friend, so that's what I'm gonna go do.
Wow. No, you're not
Yeah.
doing it yet. We're not having another distraction gate.
By the way, do you have anything to say about Daniel Garcia and his potential heel turn? No? Okay. I just wanted to
No,
make sure.
I'm gonna wait for you. I'm gonna wait for you to say it. It's fine. Fuck off.
Anyway,
Anyway,
I forgot to mute my phone. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
yeah, because whatever. It's neither blank blank blank. But yeah, I really like the way that Cope was looking sort of behind him, see if Christian was gonna sort of follow him out, and then he just appears behind Dax, and no, he appears behind Stoke and hits the kill switch on Stoke, which
Yes.
great touch. Um, brawl's happening. FTR escaped through the ring. Um, I really like the little note that Christian said that at Forbidden Door they took care of his problem, which was the matriarchy, and now they're going to take care of Adam's problem, which is FTR. I like that. I thought that was sort of a nice little bow on things. Um, and then he spins off into, I hear you have a father, um, and I hear Cash has a father as well. And Adam just grabs the mic. He's like, "Come on, dude, what the fuck? I thought we were past this." And the crowd boos him into submission because he's like, "Fine, you're all a bunch of sickos." Gives him the mic back, and Christian goes, "And that bitch is dead."
This was good shit. I have no idea. I'm well, okay. I'm pretty sure this wasn't an audible, but it would be funnier if it was an audible. But I think they just expected Cope to get booed here and for Christian to just reinforce it.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the character work that these two have been doing since they got back together.
Yes.
And also, there is absolutely no way that match is not really, really good. A,
Yes.
because FTR just don't have bad matches. And B, these four have wanted to wrestle each other for decades. Like, this is a match where all four men are going to give it like 120%. So I expect it will main event. I don't know for sure. I'm less certain about it now that it doesn't have the tag titles attached to it, which I thought it would. But I still on balance think it probably will main event. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be main eventing, especially if another match happens. That could now possibly happen with one of the with the men's world title.
Oh,
Uh,
you think that's happening?
I think it could happen. I'm not saying it will, but it could. They could possibly set
Jesus
that up.
Christ! I don't know how you get there, but fuck, I want to see that
Yeah,
so
I want to
bad, and
see
we'll
it
talk
too.
about that.
I'd love to see the rematch, but we'll talk about it later. I'm not saying it's going to happen or it's what the move is. It's way more likely that it's somebody from Don Callis' family. I think possibly
Yeah,
Josh, or maybe Takeshita.
I think not to run Josh Alexander down, but if it is Josh Alexander, no fucking way is that main eventing. Um, I'm sorry, Josh.
Yeah,
Um,
I forgot we were talking
but
about main eventing. Yeah, I wouldn't main event in that case, but that'd be a good Dynamite
but
show in
yeah,
Toronto though. That'd be a good Dynamite main event for like a Toronto show. I don't know if they're doing anything for Dynamite or Collision in Canada, but if they were, Josh
the
versus Hangman would be great for the title or for an
I think
eliminator
they're
match.
doing the Dynamite before.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're
I
doing
think
the
they should do an
Dynamite before.
eliminator match
But anyway,
for Josh because he probably hasn't done enough to earn a title shot. But regardless, this was a great segment.
yeah,
And I'm very excited for this match. Like you said, FDR never had bad matches. And these guys all want to wrestle each other. They're all friends. And yeah, it'll be awesome. So also thought it was funny that Cope said he'll take his pound of flesh. Feel like that was a shout out to Ospreay because Ospreay is going to have neck surgery, and if there's one thing Copeland knows about, it's neck surgery. But I don't know. That was just me kind of looking
entirely
into
possible.
things.
And I think Osprey also said that he was going to take his pound of flesh from John Moxley.
Yes, that's what I'm
Um,
saying. Yes, sorry if that wasn't clear. Yeah.
but yeah. Anyway, back into your regularly scheduled programming. There was a sort of video package with Darby Allin, which I thought was really, really good.
Yes, that was great.
Um, Sets up him versus Moxley officially at All Out. Um, Now that is a potential main event as well for this show, but on one specific condition that I've seen some people throw about more in hope than expectation, I think, but I would absolutely adore it, is if they do John Moxley versus Darby Allin in an exploding barbed wire death match. To sort of reclaim the stipulation from Revolution 2021. I don't know whether
would
that'll
love
happen.
that. I think it's a smart play. I don't think Tony does it, but I think it would be a good move, especially because I think All Out is like head to head with a WWE pay per view, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
So what a way to showcase the
Lollapalooza
difference
or
between
whatever
those
it
two
is.
promotions.
Absolutely. Put it on at the same time as John Cena versus Logan Paul. Make people
Please,
really fucking pick.
please.
But yeah, anyway. So yeah, then we had the opening match with nearly 15 minutes into the into the podcast, and we're finally talking about the opening match, which was Jon Moxley versus Daniel Garcia. Who it was pointed out to me on Twitter. That match main evented both a sold out Kia Forum and a sold out United Center, which is just insane to me. Like it main evented both the first time they were in LA, where they sold out the Forum, and the first dance when Punk showed up. That was the main event.
Wow, I do not remember that at all.
I mean, the Punk show went like 4 minutes. I remember the second one in LA because that was a really really good match, sort of on par with this one because this was a really really good match.
I really wasn't sure how this match was going to go. Was a little nervous, but Danny. Not only did Danny show out, but Mox made him look like fucking gold.
Genuinely, like since the Cope stuff ended for Moxley, he has been on a genuine Wrestler of the Year run.
Yeah,
Even including the Swerve stuff, which I know some people were very unhappy about. But run up to Anarchy in the Arena, having great matches with people like Mark Briscoe in the run up and Samoa Joe and stuff like that. Then obviously losing the title in one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. And since he's lost the title, he has become absolutely reinvigorated as just a pure wrestler. He goes out there nowadays every single week and has potentially match of the night every single week, which is incredibly impressive. Mox, it's almost like Mox is reminding people who were down on him after the Death Riders, like, no, I'm still one of the best wrestlers in the world. And yeah, like to your point, make Danny look like a million bucks.
that
Completely
Dragon
turned.
Screw that Danny did on Mox and the way that Mox sold that was fucking awesome. Like Mox absolutely
Really,
did not need
honestly.
to sell the Dragon Screw like that. It looked really, really good. The Mox just like basically dropped. The commentators did note also Mox wasn't coming into this 100% because of the lights out match, but still, it was still a great way to showcase Danny and really make him look good. Danny got a lot of technical moves on Moxley, and he also that leg pick that he did also looked really good into the ankle lock, which Mox also sold like it was fucking death, red death, you might say. But anyway, this looked really good, and I never really thought that Danny was going to win, but I kind of wanted Mox to put him over here. Maybe not in a tapping way, but I don't know. I was almost to that point. I don't think it needed to happen, but I
In
think it would have been cool if it did.
in fairness, the one thing I'll say to push back on that is that Danny Garcia cut a promo after the match after Dynamite. It was up on like
Yes,
social media. Have you seen it?
I have seen it. I didn't watch it at first because I don't know, just the way that AEW socials kind of wrote it up. I was like, okay, that doesn't sound very interesting. But then everyone was like, oh my god, it's amazing. So I watched it and I was like, holy shit, that's one of the best promos Danny's done. What the fuck has happened to Danny in like the last week since Forbidden Door? I don't know, but he's
I
cooking.
know. It's like he's legitimately sat down with Nigel McGuinness and I've just gone, you need to do this, 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 and this. And he's doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And like in one week, I've done a complete U-turn on Danny Garcia because I've been open
Yes.
in the past about really not caring about him. And when this match was announced, basically everyone's overriding opinion was this is make or break for Danny. If he fucks this up, then he's in the same category as like a Hook, which we'll fucking talk about. Um, where it's like you're done, you're washed, it's over.
It's over.
To
Yeah.
to quote, Mr. Punishment Martinez. I'm not calling him by that name. Um, but yeah, this was in 1 week, I've done a complete U-turn on Danny. I think
Yeah.
the stuff that he's done, just in the last like 24 hours, is excellent. And I'm not completely 100% sold on it. I'm not like, oh yeah, wonderful. Put like a belt on him or whatever. But I'm fully in the park of, okay, I'm sat down. Show me what's coming up next.
Yeah. I'm not as critical as some other folks are on Danny. I think he has a lot of potential, and I think that he has executed that potential at times and then dropped it at other times. He's just very inconsistent, but I think when he gets that
He
consistent
is
flow going, he's very good.
Yeah, he is very much sometimes potential man in the sense of like, it's like, oh, you're nearly there. Yeah. Oh no. Oh no, we're back. Oh no.
Yeah.
And think like someone like me just puts him in the Blackpool Combat Club straight away. I'm sorry. That was booking malpractice.
Yeah,
Did
I
nothing
at the
for him.
time I was like, well, maybe they'll figure out a way to make this work, but yeah, looking back, it just absolutely did not make any sense. They should have done it. So now, after the match, oh, by the way, after Mox did the most devastating move in all sports entertainment, the surprise roll up, which
Mhm.
also I kind of put over um Danny because it made Danny look like he couldn't, that Mox couldn't really beat him in a fair way. Basically,
Mm.
Mox was kind of talking up Danny and like kind of saying stuff in his ear, and uh, Garcia ended up throwing a chair and slapping away a camera before storming back. So it seems like he's still going heel, but maybe not in the way we thought, and maybe Tony's finally going to make good on Danny joining the Mox's group. Obviously very different than Blackpool Combat Club, but still, and maybe replacing Yuta, question mark, I don't know, we'll see.
We'll see. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm intrigued as to where they go. But yeah, that was an excellent match. Moxley gave the mic to Yuta after the match, only for Yuta to say, we're not having the match at all out. The answer is no. Guy gets really good. He cannot be denied. Um, yeah, but nothing much else to say. Only to say that then once we came back from the break, Yuta was still in the ring, which I thought, oh, that's a bit weird. Um, Sort of cut a promo about he's from Philadelphia. He broke in Philadelphia. He gave his soul to professional wrestling in Philadelphia, and where has it got me? It's got me shut the fuck up and blah 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 blah. Said what did it? What have your tears ever done for Will Ospreay? What did they do for Danielson? All that to say, the lights went out, and I and everyone else thought the way he's been talking about Philadelphia specifically, and people being injured and people being cheered and whatever. I can't. I know I'm not the only one that thought, oh my god, this is going to be Orange Cassidy, because of
I mean,
his
we were
history
right
with
about the
Wheeling.
orange. We were right about the
For
orange.
fuck's sake. You're technically correct, Jones over here. Um,
The best kind of correct,
is it though?
according to
I
Futurama, yes, but I can't speak for myself.
Yeah, well, there we go. But it turns out to be Hook. Um, yay. he I mean, he did something. He did he do anything actually?
He
I'm
hit
sorry.
him once, and then he did a chokehold, and it was over. It was like 5 seconds. Also, he had a shitty new theme that I don't like. And
Yeah,
I'm usually not negative on themes. I usually don't care. I think this absolutely does not work for Hook. It sounds bad. I know why we got rid of the other one because the singer was talking shit about AEW or whatever. But um, I just I don't know. This didn't work for me on a lot of fronts, and I'm just kind of over Hook, honestly.
yeah. He did do like a weird sort of. I gotta be honest. It I suppose in the canon of AEW it looked like an orange punch, except it really looked more like a Superman punch. Um, you know, so I don't know what
As
that's
soon
all
as he did
about.
that, I was like, "Ugh, is that like a new finisher?" Like, ugh.
It's giving mollywop, which is not a compliment.
No.
Um, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I definitely do.
But whatever, Hook's back, yay. Like I don't know whether he's just going to go into a feud with the Ops, but I just don't care. I really don't. There is a myriad of people that you could be putting on my TV screen that isn't Hook. Give that time to fucking, I don't know, Shane Taylor, please. Just not him, and not Sammy Guevara either. Have you seen that Death Before Dishonor card?
Just,
Since we're
just,
airing out the
yep.
since we're airing out the dirty laundry in this one segment, have you seen that card? There are 2 Sammy Guevara matches on that card.
I am well aware. TK is fucking lucky that I forgot to unsubscribe from ROH and didn't know that I was gonna have local terrorism on my goddamn Friday. So yeah.
I'm not being funny. Like you've got, speaking of Shane Taylor, he's in one of them, which is a saving grace. But you have Sammy Guevara and the Von Erichs who haven't really done anything. Um, you've got Wait, wasn't that originally? It was originally just Dustin and the Von Erichs, which means that we've replaced Dustin Rhodes, a guy who can wrestle and is good, with Sammy Guevara, who is shite. And please God, put the belts on Shane Taylor. Just please be rid of this Sammy Guevara terrorism, and also Sammy Guevara and a mystery partner versus the Outrunners. A mystery partner means that they're retaining, so someone shoot me. And also we've got QT Marshall versus Paul Walter-Hauser, which is a match specifically designed to get me to stop what I'm doing, which will be watching the show, and do something else.
Yeah,
Anyway,
a big yikes to that. I hope Outrunners win, and I hope Shane Taylor Promotions win, and we can get those titles on healthy people and
I think
just stop the Sammy madness.
I think Shane Taylor will win. I don't think the Outrunners are winning, just because a mystery opponent. I think that's key.
I saw somebody say this on Twitter. Imagine, and they were saying it positively. I'm saying disapprovingly. Imagine if it was fucking Keith Lee and this is how he came back. Oh, it would be so bad.
I would. I mean,
because they're both from Texas.
There are multiple tall buildings in Newport. I would be running to the nearest one, and I would be giving it some long introspection.
Yeah.
But hey, at least Athena versus Mina and Bandito versus Hechicero will slap. So I probably will have it have it on in the background while I do something else until those 2 matches, at which point I'll be sat down and watching. But yeah, regardless. Where were we? Sorry, we went on such a rant there.
It's okay. The next one was MJF's excellent promo.
It really was. I really hope, and I said this before Forbidden Door, and then the Forbidden Door match happened, and I was like, well, okay, that makes sense for his character. I really hope that they continue to focus on MJF's unraveling, because this was, I assume they will, because that was what this promo was. Because MJF looked fucking rabid in this promo. He really looked like a man absolutely losing what remaining marbles he had left. I have to assume, based on the content of the promo, that we will get MJF versus Mark Briscoe at All Out, probably with a stipulation, and them boys are gonna kill each other.
Yeah, they're gonna have some kind of stip match at All Out. I'm not sure what. Simon Miller suggested an Inferno match. I don't know if he was serious, but I think that would be hilarious. They don't do Inferno matches anymore, but they'll probably do some kind of death match.
There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that.
I know there is.
The Inferno matches are shit.
Yeah, they're usually not very good, and at best they're dangerous. So
yeah, just to see. I did see someone jokingly, but also I really want it to happen. Not on a pay-per-view, but on a random Dynamite. I want Moxley in a First Blood match, and it ends after a minute.
But he doesn't even blade a lot. I feel like that doesn't even work.
What? Okay, no, but it plays into the thing of like the talking point about Moxley is that, oh well, all he does is bleed. I want
Yeah.
to see it happen where it just like he does it for like a minute or deliberately cuts himself just to be like, yeah, you got that, fuck you.
Oh, yeah. I think it'd be funnier if he just never bled and got the other guy.
I suppose, but
Yeah. But either
um,
way, this is going to be a very tangent filled episode of the podcast, isn't it? Um,
it really is.
so MJF, I loved a couple things he said. So, uh, I'm bleeding buckets and you chant you deserve it. Cowboys bleeding buckets and you count cowboy shit. I get my skull bashed in and you chant you deserve it. Basically like implying like, I obviously he's a huge hypocrite here, but implying that like, oh well, it's fine when Hangman cheats, but when I cheat, I'm the bad guy, right? And I,
Hmm.
I just I just love that. Like he's attempting to like sow the seeds of division there in Hangman and the fans and stuff like that. And uh when I saw and the last thing he said was that he's gonna it's not gonna be for a match, it's gonna be for a soul. So I don't know. I guess he's a soul taker now, or he's in Mortal Kombat the movie. But apparently he's gonna grab Hangman's soul at some point. So good for MJF, I guess.
I mean, he needs one because he doesn't have one of his own, so
True.
perhaps he just wants one. Anyway, yeah, excellent stuff. Um, I'm intrigued as to where they go with the contract now that MJF doesn't have that sort of sword of Damocles hanging over Hangman all the time. It'll be intriguing to see how they navigate that, having the contract which now can't be cashed in on at any time on the wrestler whose character made the most sense to cash in at any time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it'll be intriguing how they navigate that. Anyway, um, next match, very good match. This better than I expected it to be. I'm not gonna lie, purely because um, I didn't expect it to get the time that it did. It went a good 10 minutes. I thought this might be a bit shorter than that, but this was Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford versus Chris Statlander and Harley Cameron. Um, I loved this match. I really liked the way that we're very obviously setting up women's tag team titles. Um, and like you've got what are they called? Mega Bad, which are a very, very strong tag team. But now you've also got Harley Cameron, who is just shopping herself all over the place for tag team partners. I think this is her third one in as many months. Um, and Chris Statlander, who just makes everything better. Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, this was a great match. I had a lot of fun with it. Very physical between Stat and Bane, of course. Penelope and Harley both looked good as always. Um, the One of the main parts of the match that I really liked was just seeing Bane and Stat going at each other again. They had a whole feud, right? That was one of Bane's like first feuds, and that was really fun. And
I'm pretty sure it was the first feud that she had in AEW. Yeah.
I
Um,
loved. Sorry, I had a cough. So I loved seeing that happen again, and going back to that because both those women are just incredible. She also let's see. She the deadlift German suplex to Penelope looked really good, and the discus lariat right after. I mean, I think we've talked about it before, but Stat is almost certainly one of the best AW originals. Just she always looks good. She always looks really impactful and really strong in her moves, and just very exacting in the ways that it happens. It's also worth noting that this is Harley's first match coming back from her facial injury. And I guess she
yes.
saw. I didn't notice this, but I guess her nose got hit again during this bout. But I didn't see that part. I don't know if you did.
No, I didn't. I mean, it's hard to tell under the mask.
Yeah.
But I mean, in fairness, I am in awe of anyone who can wrestle under a mask, because I think, you lose sort of a field of vision and stuff like that. I'm especially in awe of someone who can wrestle under a mask when they don't usually. Like Harley has never wrestled under a mask until she had to, and she seems to have not missed a beat in terms of her in ring work, which keeps improving, which is really
Right.
impressive. But yeah, this was just a really excellent tag team match. In terms of like the way Chris Statlander and Holly Cameron work together. This is the first tag team match that they've ever been a part of, and I thought that they worked really well together. Um, and even right down to the finish where, um, they were working sort of in tandem. Um, After Stat and Megan kicked the shit out of each other, but Harley wiping out the opposition, Stat getting the submission victory, which she's hit that before, but it's very infrequent, right?
Yeah, I don't remember the last time she hit it.
But got the tap out, which good to see.
Yeah, I
I,
think
I
there was
think as
a few. I think it was a few weeks ago. I don't think she's given it a name though. It's been a few weeks though. She hasn't hit it in a while.
she should call it her submission move. Um,
Oh, that'd be good.
just
Yes.
just in honor. Did you see that they were workshopping
Yes.
names? I really like Rathlander.
Rathlander is fucking good. I want to see that 80s shoot 'em up movie right now. Rathlander, let's go. Let's call
Yeah,
Ben Stiller in because he was in Zoolander. Let's get him in Rathlander. Oh, and you know what? That's perfect because I just remembered Stat loves Ben
yeah,
Stiller.
yeah, yeah.
So I totally
And
forgot about that until I said it. Yes, let's go.
not only does Stat love Ben Stiller, I'm pretty sure now Ben Stiller loves Chris Statlander as well, because I know
I
that he was.
I thought he tweeted about her at some point.
Yeah, because she had Zoolander gear, and he was like, "I'm in love with this. It's amazing."
Yes. Terrific. So
Um,
yeah, we can absolutely make it happen. Now, the only thing I didn't like about this match was something that happened actually after the match, and it's not a big deal, but it was a little weird. So Bane tries to blindside Stat, and then like Statlander like pushes her off or whatever. But then Willow comes in, and it almost looks like Willow was trying to protect Bane, which is strange. I think she was
yeah,
debating whether to attack Stat. I think she just missed her cue, honestly. But
I was
like,
gonna say, I think this was a blown cue,
yeah,
hundred
I think
percent.
this was a missed timing issue. But the way that it was shot, it's like it looked like she was either considering hitting Stat or helping Stat. So I don't know, but it was weird, and it was probably just a timing issue.
Yeah, but regardless, I mean, that's an unfortunate. If it is a timing issue, it's unfortunate. If it's not, then it's a bit weird. But regardless, the sort of, I really like the dynamics between Willow and Stat. I feel like we are getting somewhat towards. We're inching ever closer to knowing what's going on between the two of them. I do wish that they'd hurry up a bit,
Yeah,
but I've said that before. If they've done a very very slow burn on this, and they have just
it's been
about
almost
managed.
a year since their match at All Out last year. So
Yeah, they've done just about enough to keep me interested, but if we could move it along, that would be much appreciated.
yeah, I do think All Out will be the payoff, but I don't know what the fuck that payoff looks like.
No, no. Which I suppose is credit that they haven't sort of given us inclination either way, even though it's been
Right.
going for a while. They have managed to toe the line, I suppose, where it's not obvious what's going to happen. But um, I do sort of wish that we could get to it. But I'll reserve any sort of true criticism for it until after All Out, because I do think that that's probably where we'll get some sort of big payoff to it. If we don't, then I will start sounding the alarms of like, come on, TikTok, hurry up. Not carrying cross before you fucking say anything. Just I can't even say TikTok in wrestling anymore. Fuck that guy. Sorry, that's just my own personal. You're not reacting to anything. Are you distracted again?
I'm not distracted again. I had no idea who you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. You're even more closed off from. Well, no, you're not really closed off from WWE.
I think I
You know,
misheard you.
you.
I thought you said you had like a problem with somebody named TikTok, and I was like, "What? Are we talking about MVP?"
No, No, I said TikTok, come on, and I said, no, I don't mean Karrion Kross.
Oh, okay. I got lost in the
Because,
sauce there. I was like, who is he talking about? But yeah, Carrion.
yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ, whatever you do,
Yeah.
please don't,
Yeesh.
Tony.
But yes, my
Like, for
partner was
God's
telling me
sake.
that she was letting the Xena out. So I was distracted for a second, but it was for good reason.
Does she not know that you do this podcast?
She does, but like,
Sure.
the dog doesn't care. Xena wants to be out in the living room with me because I'm so affable. You know what I mean?
No, I don't. But anyway, moving on.
Fair enough. I walked right into that one. Yeah, we had Mercedes Moné celebrating her being 9 belts, and this
we
segment
we
did
did
absolutely nothing.
right. Yes, it did. It did do absolutely nothing.
I'm not saying it was
But
bad. I'm
it
just
sort
saying
of
it felt like it was nothing.
yes and no. I think it accomplished very clearly setting up that Alex Windsor is the next challenger. Um,
Yes.
but I do have this sense in wrestling that we've got to the point where you can't just do an in-ring segment or anything, or even a backstage segment, without it being interrupted, or there's a brawl, or there's something to further a storyline. Which I get because time is limited and you need to move things along. But I did just appreciate that this was just Mercedes coming out with 9 belts and just being like, "Look how fucking great I am." You know,
Hey, I'm never going to be against that. Oh,
no, I
and called out
do.
Ultimo Dragon. So when are we doing that match, Tony? Is that match happening too?
Yeah, fucking hell, exactly.
And
But
gave
I
Rev Pro a
do.
shout out too.
I mean, this is the thing, right? Mercedes, Mercedes having the belts doesn't mean anything, guys. I heard this from random Twitter people that have have 8 numbers in their name and 0 bitches to their name. So,
No hose,
so
as Stokely Hathaway would say.
yes, they have no O's. But
Oh, that
I
reminds me, they did a no hose chant early in the show that we forgot to talk about, but it was really good.
yes, they did. Yes, they did because Philadelphia is always a great wrestling crowd.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I did sort of just appreciate. I think there's a sort of formula to these sorts of things where it's like, oh, well, she's having an in-ring segment, so naturally someone's going to come out and challenge her. Naturally, there's going to be some sort of angle, some sort of brawl. And there is a part of me that does just appreciate that no, there's no need to follow that formula every single time. Sometimes it can just be Mercedes gloating, setting up a challenger without having to do that sort of, oh, here comes Alex Windsor to interrupt her. You know, it was just Mercedes with all her belts cutting a promo, furthering an angle even then, but not everything has to be that sort of formulaic, here comes the challenger type thing. you know so when people say, when you say like, oh, it did nothing, this was nothing, I sort of do instinctively push back on that because it did further a story. It just did it in a way that we're not expecting and we're not used to, which is, not having the challenger there. So I really liked it for that reason. I thought it was just something different.
Yeah, I can understand that. It didn't do much for me, although I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying it was kind of there. But also, like Windsor has Alex has a completely valid reason for not being there. Osprey is getting neck surgery. Also, I heard that something about Forbidden Door online. I don't know. And but yeah, but anyway, again, not a bad segment. I'm not saying that. I think you're right. I think I'm so accustomed to people interrupting. I was expecting someone to come out and interrupt her and then have a promo off. And then we didn't get any of that. And I was like, oh, I guess it was just to showcase all of her belts and just talk about how great she is and then set up Alex. And I'm like, that's fine, I guess. But I guess for my expectations felt underwhelming, but not a big deal.
No, not at all.
Yeah, yeah. So,
But
do you want to talk about how many babies Mark Briscoe has now?
he has God knows how many kids. Um,
Literally,
are we in double digits yet?
I think if we're not, we're almost there. We got to be almost there.
Let me have a look. Wikipedia, which is always a very trustworthy. Okay, apparently it's his ninth. That is his ninth.
I knew it. I was gonna say 9 too. I'm so mad at myself for not saying 9. And Mark Briscoe's not
from
a
nine
spring chicken anymore, pun intended. He's 40. So
from
that
nine
man's
from 9 belts Monet to 9 kids Briscoe. I do appreciate it.
nine belts Monet to 9 babies Mark.
That's better, yeah, because that has the
Yeah.
same alliteration.
Yes. I'm very proud of myself for that.
But yeah, he basically said that, Max, bring it on. I'm gonna, light you up, whatever. But he also threw out the challenge to my protostar now and forever, the TNT champion Carl Fletcher, which he said he wanted to do it in Philadelphia. We got the residency and whatever. I think Carl Fletcher and Mark Briscoe is one of the most underrated wrestling pairings in just wrestling in general nowadays. He brought up that they had 4 matches. Those four
And they were all
matches
bangers.
without fault were brilliant matches. They had such wonderful chemistry in the ring. I'm really, really excited to see the sort of the 5th match here, and I imagine
they're 2-2, which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it probably happens if not next week at Dynamite, next Collision, I should imagine. Point being, you'll probably be there, which, fuck you.
I'm excited for that, but I'm much more excited for another match that got announced, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yes, we will. Jesus fucking Christ. I cannot believe that's a real match that they're doing. What an embarrassment of riches this company is.
I know. I'm very excited for this. It led off from the Don Callis family, Takeshita Okada, Big Hetch, Josh facing Jet Speed and AEW Men's World Tag Team Champions, Brodito. So I mean, look, do I even need to say it, Adam? Do I need to say it at this fucking point? Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
I mean, yes,
Trench coat, 3 PWGs, etc. This was incredible. This was a really great match. It would have been my match of the night if we didn't have the utter murder of somebody later on in the night. But
oh my god, I cannot. Go on. I was just gonna say I cannot wait to talk about that match.
I'm very excited as well. But that said, it's not far and away. The other match is not far and away my match of the night. These are both very close in the running. This was an incredible, really great match. Really exciting, really fun. Just lots of, just all the stuff you expect from this. I mean, lots of really cool technical moves. Bandito and Hetchy gave a preview of Friday. Bailey looked amazing as always. Lots of flips and dives. You go ahead. You talk about it because I'm so excited. I'm like stuttering on my words.
I love the way in which they have very carefully wove the story. Woved? I don't know. They very carefully threaded the story. Very carefully weaved the story, threaded the story throughout this match of Okada and Takeshita progressively, slowly but surely coming to loggerheads. Just 2 egos on the same team, getting in each other's way, and not backing down from one another. I really appreciate it.
Oh, we also have to talk about Don's new fucking intro. Well, it's not new, but his intro for Hechicero is just legendary at this point. I love it. Every single time he says Hechicero's name, like his mouth, his expression, the way it's amazing. I love it.
Not only that, the fact that he says every time, "I am Hechicero."
Yes. Even I was with my infinite knowledge of Spanish was like kind of side-eyeing Don the first time he did this bit, and I'm like, did he say that wrong? That doesn't sound right.
I saw something online that was talking about. He came in saying, "Excuse me," and we all went, "Oh, fucking hell, he's doing Vicky Guerrero." I saw something online of him as Cyrus 25 years ago interrupting Joey Styles in the ring, going, "Excuse me, excuse me, I have something to say." in the ECW arena 25 years ago, and I thought, if that's intentional, I have to believe it is because he doesn't usually do it. That's absolutely
Yes.
phenomenal.
Oh, that's such a good callback. Holy shit. I've seen because I've seen enough pay-per-views from ECW going back looking at their best ones. I've seen a couple with Cyrus on it. I don't remember him ever doing that. He probably did it on the TV tapings, but that's genius. That's such good shit. I wonder if anybody got that because I sure as shit didn't.
I mean, yeah, I found it on Twitter, so someone must have got it.
Right.
But yeah, but beyond Don Callis shenanigans, first of all, um, this faction is insane. Like, how the fuck do you have so many people? How do you keep adding people?
Even Don's like, I have half the roster at this point, and everyone's like, yeah, he's not wrong. Like he's got to at least have like fucking 25%, 20% of the goddamn men's roster.
The way that we said like 2 months ago. Fucking hell, Don, you've got a lot of people in that roster. And he went, how about I just add Kazuchika Okada? And we were like, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay,
hold my
that's
sake. Hold my
yeah,
sake.
that he was like, how about I add Okada? And we're like, fucking hell, all right, fine. And then he's like, how about I just add Wardlow as well? How about I just have fuck everyone come to me? Oh my god. And like, I'll say this. If it gets us like all of these incredible all-star tags featuring different sort of iterations of the family, like sign me up because this match was brilliant.
Yeah,
Um, I want
it
I
was
want to
super
also
good, and the stuff between Takeshita and Okada, I think we might get a 2-for-1, or at least that's kind of what I'm hoping. Okada will leave, and Takeshita will also leave, or maybe Okada will stay and Takeshita will go. That's probably actually what will happen. But I like for
yeah.
both to leave just because there's so many fucking people. But somehow they all it still feels like all the important ones still get featured enough. You know what I mean? Like it's a balancing act, but I do
Mm.
feel like they're more or less doing it. They just take up a lot of TV time, but they've got so many fucking great people that I don't know. I'm not mad about it.
No, absolutely not. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Takeshita goes. I don't know whether they'll do this because he's doing such great work as a heel, but it wouldn't surprise me if Takeshita goes, fully turns on Okada, goes babyface, and Carl Fletcher ends up sort of torn in the middle and eventually goes to like that, because he's so attached at the hip to Takeshita. I wonder whether him leaving the family, which I think is almost inevitable at this point, whether that is sort of the catalyst for Carl Fletcher also leaving and turning babyface.
Well, yeah, he's got to follow his boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're married at this point. But come on.
I didn't even know that they went to Mormon country. That's crazy.
I mean, have they? Now you've got me thinking: has AEW ever done a show in Utah?
They have. They did do a show, but that was like a year or two ago.
I looked up AEW Utah. The first result I get is for Wheeler, Utah.
Oh my god, Wheeler, Utah.
Okay, yeah. Apparently they did one last year, and right at the start of AEW as well. Apparently, God knows, I didn't know that. Anyway, but yeah, this match was excellent. There were so many spots to talk about. It's one of those all-star tags where it's like we end up talking about it, and all we have to say is like there was so much going on that we can't talk about it. Just go and watch it. This is another one of those. Um, only to say that every time Takeshita hit someone, it looked like it killed them because Konosuke Takeshita is the best striker in the world, and I'll stand by that.
Yeah, he is
I
so
do.
good
I
with
do
his
find it.
strikes. What?
I did find it interesting that I don't know whether they haven't mentioned it at all. They certainly didn't mention it on this episode. That in fact, Konosuke Takeshita has won the G1 climax. Like, I
I'm
sort of,
pretty sure Excalibur congratulated him on Collision or on Dynamite last week. I can remember Excalibur saying, by the way, congratulations to Konosuke Takeshita, or maybe that was on Forbidden Door. Fuck if I remember. I know it happened recently though.
Well, fair enough. I mean, I haven't seen Forbidden Door to hear the commentary.
Oh yeah,
But
true.
but I do sort of think that they should probably mention it a bit more. I know
Yeah,
that.
I agree. It's a huge thing for Takeshita, and I agree. I wish they would mention it more. It's a huge achievement. I think what'll happen is we're gonna tease out this Okada Takeshita thing, and once that starts going, I think they'll bring it up a lot more in the video packages. Which I mean, they should do it now, but I think that's what they'll do.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. It was, in fairness, it was a G1 climax that I think everyone involved, bar Takeshita, just wants to forget happened.
Yeah.
So I can't really blame them for that. He's like, I just have this trophy now, and the House of Torture doesn't exist.
I'm really glad, by the way, and who ended up getting the pin here. Totally got it wrong. I thought the reverse would be more likely,
I know
but
he did.
Josh
I thought he was going to be pinned.
yes, Josh finally got a pin. Now it was a surprise roll up. I wish it would have been a C4, but that's a minor thing. He countered the devastating shooting star ultimate weapon basically, and then got him in a, I mean, straight up like pin for the 3 count. Thought that was great. Love that Josh is getting a win. Big fan of Josh, and love that he's getting some flowers by beating Mike Bailey. Technically beating, I know, not really, but technically beating Brodito and Brody and yada yada. So this was a really great match, and up until this point was easily my match of the night.
Oh, I don't know whether it was easily because I adored the opener. Um, but yeah, it was an excellent match. Um, and I don't think it went long enough to be sort of one of the top All Star tags they've ever done, but it was still a really good sort of, like you say, PWG style, um, 8-man tag. Set up a lot of good stuff. And we should then, after that, talk about the promo involving the Don Callis family that happened after we came back from the break. Because Hangman Adam Page still absolutely, riding on cloud nine every time I see him with the title. Still doesn't feel real. I don't, I think I was so thoroughly, held mentally hostage by the Death Riders that seeing someone actually have the belt that isn't John Moxley in a briefcase sort of feels a bit surreal still. I don't know when that will wear off, but it hasn't yet.
I agree.
Um, but he starts talking as he is wont to do. Starts talking about Will Ospreay. Says thank you, um, you know, thank you for everything that you've given to AEW. Thank you for having my back. Says he's genuinely sorry for how everything turned out for you after All In. All the injuries and stuff. He did say get well, heal up and whatever. And when the time is right, I hope you can come back and challenge me for this world championship. And I think it was Ebo Online was like, did Hangman just like tentatively spoil the Wembley main event next year?
I feel like he did too. That's what I thought when he said that. I was like, All In?
But I mean, I'm going to be at that show. So seeing Hangman versus Ospreay in person would be absolutely sort of dreamland for me. So I will not complain one bit if that's what actually ends up happening. Um, he says, and then he gets to Forbidden Door, says that MJF, you had a shot at this, you threw everything at me, and you still failed. Um, and he said that you now have a 7-day contract, 7-day wait to cash in the contract. And if you ever think about signing that contract again, I will beat your ass before the ink dries. Great stuff. At which point, I sort of thought to myself, obviously this is going to set up a challenger. At which point, who should come back out, much to the thunderous boos of everyone involved, the Mr. Don Callis once again. Um, which I thought at the time I remember thinking, okay, that's interesting because who is going to challenge Hangman then? Because I thought it can't be Okada. It can't be Okada because he's the unified champion. It can't be
Right.
Fletcher because he's the TNT champion. I don't necessarily think it'll be Takeshita, although it could be, because, they want to do the babyface turn and whatever. And I thought, it's not going to be Wardlow. They're not going to set him up to fail like that, surely. So I thought, it must be Josh Alexander. But then, Don Callis says, you won your first AEW title from me. And the only reason you took it from me was because I had a weakling defending it against you. At which point I probably should have clocked what was coming. When he said, you don't get to decide who you wrestle. There's a whole locker room that wants the belt. Trust me, I've got half of them under contract. He just did make me laugh, like you said. So he said, it's not a question of getting your belt. It's a question of who's going to get it. And the Don Callis family, all starts around in the ring. I did really like that Hangman said, I'm not a dumbass, so I figure before, and cuts it straight off just so he could get the sneak attack.
I loved that. Cut himself. He's like, bench, I ain't waiting, and just like fucking jumps onto, I think it was Rocky. I can't remember, but yeah.
Was it Rocky? Yeah, I think it was Rocky. Yeah, it might have been.
He went after. He had to go after the weakling, Adam.
Yeah, because I remember. Don Callis said it's only it's a question of which member of my family will get it, and then he attacked Rocky.
I saw Rocky, and I was like, God, imagine.
Yeah, I was like, it's not going to be you, Rocky. Thank you for your service, bud. But yeah, they start beating him down, but jet speeds come out, which, good to see them, but they get beaten down as well. And who should make his return to AEW TV after nearly 2 months now, because he wasn't on TV after All In. He skipped TV completely until Forbidden Door. So making his first appearance on TV for nearly 2 months, who other than the greatest wrestler of all time, and I will stand by that, Mr. Kenneth Omega. And like I said, I should have clocked that when Don Callis said, I had a weakling defending it against you. Obviously talking about Kenny.
Yeah.
But I marked the fuck out for this. Holy shit.
I fucking loved this so much. I was freaking out, marking out. I looked at the first ever Dynamite show I watched was Kenny versus Hangman when Sting debuted and what wasn't Kenny Hangman? No, they were in the semifinals, weren't they? Fuck, I don't remember.
They were. That was Full Gear. No, the one where Sting debuted was when Kenny beat Moxley for the title.
Kenny beat Moxley. Sorry, I thought that they faced each other in that tournament as well, but I think I missed that match.
They did.
Anyway,
they did.
Yeah.
It was at Full Gear.
Oh, okay. So, and that's not the title match. They also fought each other in a tournament at Full Gear.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my god. That's so weird.
They fought each other in the world title tournament at Full Gear 2020, and then a year later they fought each other for the belt at Full Gear.
Oh man, it's almost like there was some kind of plan there. That's crazy. Anyway, so anyway, my point was one of the first Dynamites I watched was all about Kenny and had kind of Hangman in the background a little bit, and obviously that story with Hangman and Kenny. And Hangman himself for the full year before they got to Full Gear. So for me, this was huge. I have gone back and watched the 2019-2020 Kenny Hangman run. It's not actually the run itself is not very good because it's plagued by injuries left and right, and people being off TV, and then the pandemic happens.
Yeah. And then Hangman goes and has a kid, so he's off TV for a good couple of months.
Right. So it's just. It's not a very good run, but of course the Bucks versus Kenny and Hangman is legendary.
Oh, right.
I was so happy to see this.
Yes. Sorry, I was talking about a completely different thing. Yes, you are correct. Yes, Hangman has a kid later.
Yes, he did. I was like, I don't remember him having one in 2020 and then being gone for a few months. But yeah, this was cool. This was such a great moment. I was screaming. I didn't see it coming either. I thought. Maybe I thought maybe it was going to be Orange or maybe someone else. I had no idea that it was going to be Kenny. Of course, they teased like their history with each other, but ultimately they hugged, and I was so excited. And then Adam, they announced this fucking match. They announced, and I'm gonna forget some of the people. I'm sorry.
Also,
yes. Go ahead.
sorry, before you talk about that, I just want to put over that Kenny hits. We don't care because it is all about the moment of Kenny and Hangman reuniting.
Right.
Kenny hits genuinely the worst V trigger I've ever seen
It
on
was
that
really,
Archer.
I think it was just because Lance is so fucking big that he just couldn't, he just didn't
And
get it.
also, Lance just stands there like an NPC for a good 3 seconds waiting to be hit.
Yes.
It was
I
fucking
noticed this as well. I
hilarious.
immediately discarded it, but I did notice it. It was kind of funny.
But I don't care. Could not give
Yeah.
any less of a shit, And but what we were talking about earlier, we were sort of alluding to could they run this specific world title match? Do you reckon there's a chance that they just do it because they can?
I I think they could. I think they could do it back as a respectful babyface versus babyface because they're 1-1, right? Kenny's beating him
Yeah,
and Hangman's beating him. So, I mean, they could settle it, and obviously Hangman would go over, and I don't think Kenny would have any issue with that. I mean, he put MJF over. Um, so I don't think there'd be any real, and obviously they're great friends. So yeah, I mean, I could see it happening, but you'd have to do a respectful baby face versus respectful baby
yeah.
face kind of thing.
And also, I also think that if it's not main eventing, which I think I don't think it is, because I think either Copa Christian or Moxley and Darby is main eventing. I think that that's the sort of match that you can just run in the middle of the card. I know it'd be the best match on the card by a long way, but because there's no real story going into it, or at least not a traditional one, it's the sort of thing that you can just be like, right, we're going to put this second to last or whatever, as it just be sort of the semi-main event
Yeah,
and just go 30 minutes and be incredible. And then you get the big sort of plunder match or the big, incredible homecoming return at the end, because that wouldn't bring the crowd, the crowd would get up for it. I'm just thinking
sure.
purely as sort of like a, laying out a match card type thing. So I could see it happen. I don't think it will. I think it's far
Yeah,
more likely
I
that,
think they're heavily teasing Don Callis family, which to me means I know it's not likely, but I'm just saying because it's Canada, it could be Josh, but more likely it's Takeshita, which I will not make any complaints about. It probably is
gen-
Takeshita, which will be incredible.
genuinely, I think Hangman versus the Takeshita. I don't think it's ever happened, right?
Well,
I'm
to
just
the cage match.
yeah, yeah. Hold on a minute. Let's have a look at this. Uh, let's go on to Kanosuke Takeshita's thing.
They
Search
have
up.
their first singles match was May 18th. Wow, that was so long ago. Wait, is that a different Adam?
Oh, I remember this. Yes, because that's the match. That's the match where everyone started being like, "Holy shit, this Kanosuke Takeshita guy's pretty good." Of course, how could I forget about that?
Yeah, I think that
But
was
put it,
2022. It said,
yeah, I remember that happening because yeah,
"Yep,
that was
May
like I say, that was the match that put Takeshita on
for
the map
sure."
for sort of American wrestling fans.
Yeah,
But this is a very, very different, very sort of mature Kanosuke Takeshita. I think that has the potential to be one of the greatest matches I've ever seen if they do it right. Give them like 30 minutes to kill absolutely beat the shit out of each other. I
you
think
want to know
that would
something
be
funny about that match? By the way,
what's that?
it was the last time Hangman defended his title successfully before you know what happened. So,
No, is it really?
according to Sportster,
Wow.
yeah.
That's kind of funny to see.
Page one by performing the GTS on Takeshita. Oh, it's funny. Hindsight's funny. Anyway, this was tremendous. I loved it. This was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole show. In a non-wrestling sense, this was my favorite part. But even including wrestling, I just fucking love elite lore. I love elite drama. They brought BTE back, so this is gonna somehow fucking come up, I'm sure, somehow when the Bucks trauma dump on us next week. So I'm just so
Yes.
happy that they are going to be coming back. So the match next week, anyway, I was saying this earlier, is, and I'm going to get this wrong, it's Kenny and Hangman and Jet Speed.
Yes, that sounds about
Okay.
right.
Versus This is the part I'm definitely going to mess up. I think it's Josh Takeshita, and you couldn't pay me enough to remember the other two. I don't fucking remember.
I'm pretty sure that they got 2 random jobbers, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's right. All right, the Bucks. Of course, the Bucks. Fuck.
Because that's the whole thing. You're gonna have, I saw someone literally like say, no disrespect to the 4 excellent wrestlers, but I'm cropping out Kevin Knight, Mike Bailey, Josh Alexander, and Carl Fletcher because we are finally getting Hangmega versus the Bucks again.
Yes.
Even if it's in an 8-man tag.
Yes, we are. God, I hope they have a. Oh, this sounds weird, but a singles tag match. Oh, it'd make my day.
Yeah, because I don't know if we must be preaching to the choir if you're listening to an AEW podcast. If you haven't seen Hangman Page and Kenny Omega versus the Bucks, how are you an AEW fan? How have you got this far that you're listening to us, some random nobodies, talk about AEW for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you haven't seen that match? It is, and I've seen a lot of wrestling, including in Japan, including things like the Can-Am Express versus the Holy Demon Army. I don't want to discount the work of, Akira Tao, Kenta Kobashi, Mitsuhara Misawa, and Jun Akiyama and Toshiaki Kawada. It's the best tag match of all time. Across the entirety of professional wrestling, across all continents, it's the greatest tag match of all time. And you should go and watch it. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I saw it for the first time. First few weeks of like 20 of this year, or maybe the first few months, and just an incredible match. One of my favorite tag matches of all time. Just incredible shit. 2 tag teams full of individually incredible wrestlers at the height of their power.
Yeah, I'd argue it's probably AEW's first all-timer match, which is crazy to say. I mean, I don't. This is going to get me some fucking hate if people actually take me up on this. I don't rate Cody versus Dustin as highly as everyone else. I think it's a perfectly fine 4.5-star match. But it's not my sort of jam. So I would say that this is probably AEW's first absolute all-timer. Have to go out of your way to see this at all costs match. And because of course it just makes perfect sense that it's the Elite.
Yeah.
Because this is all Elite wrestling. But anyway, that's a tangent for another time. Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa are back in business, baby. Tony Storm talked about the very bad thing that I don't want to talk about anymore that happened on Sunday that I was in the building for. And now Mina Shirakawa wants to do the same, which I love Mina. Fuck off. Por favor.
Por favor.
But I did like that Athena said, in the 2300 arena, that she will do things to Mina that would make the blue meanie quiver.
I know, I like that. I like that too.
But I loved as well that apparently Athena has she's had 68 title defenses supposedly. I'm not sure I believe that. Or at least 68 wins in ROH. But Mina said that you will not 69 me.
I missed that one. I think you know why I missed that one. I'm pretty sure I missed that one because I believe Mina at one point kind of fiddled with her top, and I believe my heart stopped for a split second there, so I lost consciousness.
Me too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love both of these women. I don't want I want Athena to win. I want Athena to be a double.
I don't think any chance Mina wins at this point. Can't wait for everybody to call me fucking delusional. At this point, we're going.
I know exactly where you're going with this.
Fuck you. Let me finish. Fucking, they're gonna do it. It's gonna be this time. Billy Starks. They're gonna do it. God damn it. They're gonna do it. Final battle. She'll win.
Oh, I love that you probably said that. You've said that 3 years in a row now.
Shut up.
Oh dear. It is legitimately every single final battle for 3 years. They've done Billy versus Athena. And every time I thought Billy's gonna win, and both times it's happened since she hasn't. Oh
I just want
Jesus.
to remind everyone the second I was there for. So yeah, not
Yeah.
bitter though.
Well,
Not bitter.
more for you.
Yep. Anyway, let's get to the semifinal match. This was the Ops versus Ricochet and the GOA. I thought this was a solid match. It didn't do a ton for me, but
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. I liked it.
yeah. I thought this was probably the least good match. I don't want to say the worst match on the card because that implies it's bad, but it was certainly the match that I thought was the most sort of okay as opposed to very good, which was the rest of the matches. It was fairly sort of your standard 6-man tag. Crowd loved Samoa Joe because this crowd knows ball.
That's right.
But I really do appreciate the sort of quiet run that the Gates of Agony have been on over the past couple of months. All starting really when they had that surprisingly really good match against the Hurt Syndicate in Boston that I think you were there for.
Yes.
I thought that was when I think me and a lot of other people sort of stood up and went, "Oh, okay, Gates of Agony, I see you." But I thought that they've had this sort of, like I say, quiet, under the radar, solid tag team run for the past few months, and I think being paired with Ricochet is going to do really good things for them in terms of being a consistent presence in AEW, and also being part of this sort of ongoing revitalization of the tag team division, which I think I'm not ready to call it a bona fide success just yet, but I think it's been certainly a lot more successful than I expected it to be sort of 6 months ago. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's definitely showing signs of improvement since from where it's come. I think you give Brodito a chance to shine every week against a new tag, or maybe not every week, but maybe every other week, and then build a story alongside a big tag team that could pose some kind of threat to their title reign. Alongside that, up until the pay per view, I think you got a stew going, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Brodito will be the crutch that the tag team division is built around for the next 6 months. It's impressive that you could take a team like the Hounds of Hell, have one of them get injured, and pivot so incredibly successfully that I'm like, Jesus Christ, sorry, buddy, but when you get back, I don't know what they do with you. I suppose a singles run, because there's no way in hell I'm trading this Prodito tag team that we've got for anything. So
Yeah,
I fully
I'm with
expect
you. I don't know what else to say except I agree.
I fully expect Prodito to have a really good tag run, and I expect the GOA to be sort of right there with them to have very good matches with them because I really appreciate the work that they've been doing. And like I say, this was probably the worst match on the card, but that's not to say it was bad. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it. There were some nice meat moments, I'm gonna call them.
Mm,
And that was fun. But I think we all knew, well, maybe we didn't all know, but I was pretty sure that, they were gonna do eye for an eye here and have the Hurt Syndicate interfere in some way. MVP
yeah,
was back from his vacation and hit someone with his staff or stick or whatever, his pimp stick. I don't know what you call it. And
giggity.
uh, basically just cost them the match. I loved it. Ricochet, this is my favorite part of the match was, this sounds bad, but was the ending where Ricochet just takes like 15 different finishers after taking that. Just gets absolutely blown the fuck up by everybody and pinned. It was great.
Yeah, honestly, I love that. Because it really works with Ricochet as well. In
Yes.
the terms of he is a guy that I think could and should be a main event talent in AEW, but he's also the kind of guy that you can just absolutely bitch out and it doesn't hurt his character because his
Yep.
character is that he's sort of a cowardly, sniveling heel that is
Right.
constantly looking for ways to overcome that.
Yep.
To sort of big himself up to be bigger than he is. So it behooves his character to get absolutely bitched the fuck out by someone like Samoa Joe and Katsuyori Shibata and Powerhouse Hobbs every now and then. So yeah, I really did like that.
Agreed.
I also like the fact that this is twice in 1 week that the trios belts have been defended, which is the first time in God knows how long that's been true. So like, I hope long may it continue. I don't know whether it will, but that is a stat that sort of made me take interest for a second.
Yeah. I also really liked that GOA rushed the Hurt Syndicate when they came out to confront them. They didn't wait for them to get to the ring. They kind of pulled a Hangman in a less, kind of high flyer-esque way. But yeah, they just bum rushed them, and then they all just, the security got in. Fans were really into it. I think this will babyface the Hurt Syndicate a little bit. Obviously, they're tweening it up, or have been tweening it up. And yeah, I'm with you that Hurt Syndicate should be away from the tag titles for a bit and just do some non-titles. I'd love to see Shelton get into the TNT title scene, or fuck, I don't know. Even give me Hangman versus Shelton. Can we just do that? And yeah, I don't really care. I gotta be real. I don't really care what Bobby does. I love you, Bobby. You're the nicest one, but your in-ring work has never, by itself, has never super. I mean, I thought his matches with Swerve were solid, but they were never like match of the night or anything like that. So
No, I mean I agree. I think Bobby still has juice in the tank left to be a singles guy if he wants to. But I would much rather him in the role that he's in. I
right.
think Shelton has more potential as a singles guy, certainly. But I could see the appeal of Bobby Lashley to a certain kind of wrestling fan. Not my kind, but a certain kind of wrestling fan that is sort
Right, with
of,
the initials VKM. Right, I understand.
well, yeah, you know what I mean though. Where it's like
No, I
you can't.
know.
There is certainly a type of wrestling fan, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, that does have this sort of reverence for, oh my god, look at the size of this guy. And Bobby Lashley is definitely one of those guys, but he also has the added advantage that he can work in ring.
Yes.
So it wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing if he became. I don't want him to be world champion or anything, but if he had a
Right.
run with like the TNT or the unified belts, I don't think that would be necessarily a bad thing. You want to appeal to everyone, and Bobby Lashley
Right.
certainly has an appeal to a certain kind of wrestling fan that it behooves Tony Khan, if he can, to pick up.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a TNT title run. If Okada is the one holding the title, I definitely don't want Bobby beating him for it. But if somebody else is holding it, then I'm more open to that. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, he could. I think Bobby could easily beat someone like a. I mean, you could even have him beat someone like a Speedball for the belt if you wanted. Long-term
sure.
storytelling.
Oh boy, fuck you,
um,
Speedball.
but yeah, anyway.
um.
but
So,
we need, yeah.
oh yeah, go ahead.
But no, I was just gonna say, good match. Obviously, the Ops retain. There was a brawl. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. Who cares? We need to talk about the main event.
That's right.
Oh my fucking god. I didn't know necessarily what to expect. I expected it to be good because, you know, Darby Allin in a TV match, especially something like a Falls Count Anywhere match, is never not going to be good. But Claudio is a fantastic in-ring worker, but he can get sort of bogged down in the technicalities of a match, and I didn't think that would behoove this match. So I was going into this thinking this is probably going to be sort of really excellent, but I was in the back of my mind thinking I hope this doesn't turn into Claudio just grinding and pounding for a good 10 minutes. Uh, I know. Thank you, but what we got, good grief above. they started they started at an 11, and then they took it for like a 15, real fucking quick.
Yeah.
Because this, so it start, as Claudio is doing his sort of aura farming entrance as he does, Darby Allin just comes straight from the back and jumps in. But doesn't last very long because Claudio, first of all, he throws him into a wall, which, standard stuff. Then he puts him into there's just a shopping trolley in the back. I don't know why. I guess people are doing their shopping before they come to the show and
Of course,
stealing the trolleys.
they're going into catering. They're getting ready for Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, very good. But he just puts him in the trolley. I think he says like vroom vroom or something like that. But he then throws Darby out of the cart onto a stack of chairs that are backstage. And Darby takes it as only Darby can, where it just looks like he ragdoll. It's like proper ragdoll physics, where he just hits him, goes limp, and the chairs just look absolutely chaotic. But Claudio wasn't done because after he then picks him up, it's just a big random ass television in the back as well.
Yeah,
And
the commentators explained it that was the viewing section of the background area, the backstage area. So that's where they were watching the matches live on TV or whatever.
I see. So
Yeah,
yeah, Claudio sets up the TV and body slams Darby through the TV, and it properly snaps in half.
it does.
Um, and I said in the live chat that my dad, who doesn't know that TVs aren't expensive anymore, is going to be really going to be really shocked by that.
He would be so upset if he could read.
But yeah, I mean, I've talked for a while, so I'll let you talk. But this,
Yeah, yeah.
this
There's so many fucking good
starting.
spots. I think one of
I
my
mean, we
favorite
have
moments, and I think you'll agree with me on this, is when he like military presses Darby onto the commentary table, and we lose commentary for a couple minutes, and Claudio doesn't
you're
stop.
you're underselling that. He picks him up in the ring, military press style, and fucking lawn darts him into the announce table. I've watched clips back of someone who was stood behind the announce table, that was videoing it. The thud that Darby makes when he hits that table is insane. It's like a proper sort of dull whack as his body just absolutely crushes. Like, you can see the monitors on the table sort of collapse in on themselves as Darby hits them. It's gnarly as hell. You don't realize that when you're watching it in the moment and you just have the sort of TV camera feed. But yeah, watching it from another angle, you can properly see how absolutely awful that must have been to take.
Yeah, it looked gnarly. It looked like one of the worst ways that he could have really landed. I really appreciated just how much Darby sold for Claudio in this. I mean, Darby selling is so good all around. But here it was just peak Darby. And one of my other favorite moments was the I am the table moment, of course. Claudio trying
Hmm.
to put Darby through the fucking table, but it didn't break, so he said, "Fuck it, we'll do it again." Um, just really good shit. Eventually, um, let's see. Eventually, Darby is able to hit a code red, hit a couple coffin drops, and get the win. Which I mean, figured he would, right? Because he's gonna face Mox, so you got to beat Claudio. But I loved that it was,
Yeah.
I love that it was Darby's finisher. I love that it was a clean win. Surprisingly, the Death Riders didn't get involved at all. So, but they did after
No,
the
I
match,
know.
of course.
I was expecting that, to be honest. But yeah, I want to talk about what you said before I, sort of rudely interrupted you, and I do apologize. But yeah, I adored. I know it was unintentional because you could clearly see the commentators scrambling to try and get comms back. But there was just this sort of incredible atmosphere where after the announce table spot, obviously the commentators have moved and they'd obviously lost the feed because, their mics and their monitors have been just sort of crushed by Darby Allin's corpse. Um, and there's just this sort of good sort of 3-4 minutes where there's no commentary whatsoever. And Claudio keeps beating the fuck out of Darby Allin, but you just have the atmosphere of the crowd, completely untainted, completely unmuddled by any commentary in your ear. And it was just, I don't know how else to explain it. It was just pure vibes. where it was just like, this is in an arena that has seen so much independent wrestling, and so much sort of uh, balls to the wall out there, not doing the conventional thing in wrestling. To have a national promotion just have 5 minutes where there's no commentary, there's no sort of bells and whistles, it's just two men wrestling in an arena where the crowd's going wild, the crowd can't believe what they're seeing. Two of the best TV wrestlers in the world doing what they're doing. I don't know. It was sort of a unique euphoria as a wrestling fan that I don't know whether I've ever experienced it. Closest I've ever experienced it was the first time I ever watched. I'm not saying these matches are in any way comparable, but it was the first time I ever watched Kenta Kobashi versus Samoa Joe, because there's no commentary for that match. It's just two men in, I believe it was the Hammerstein, just kicking the shit out of each other, and you have the crowds, the energy of the crowd, the sort of back and forth. You could hear everything that's being done to one another, and this captured that energy that I don't think anything ever has since, and I loved it. But anyway, that's my sort of love letter tangent to a specific 3 minute stretch of a TV match. We can talk.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, this was a really great portion of which you don't have commentary saying anything or adding anything. It's just Claudio beating the shit out of Darby, and it's great. So just props to both these guys. They both look good. Claudio doesn't lose anything by taking this loss, of course. He's just, I mean, honestly, like, Claudio is still somehow underrated. He's just one of the best. I don't even see him as like an ex-WWE guy. He just is an AEW guy at this point. Like, he's just
Yeah,
seamlessly
absolutely.
fit in. I think
I
it's
forget.
because of his long indie run, right? His time in in Chikara, and I don't think he ever did PWG, but correct me if I'm wrong.
He
But
might have.
yeah, but he had a long indie stretch before he was in WWE, and I think he's really just found his own. He's just such a great all-rounder, such a great base for lucha. He's still criminally underrated. I just want to give him his props. He was excellent with Darby here. Darby looked great too, of course, but it helps having that person to really throw you around, who you trust to throw you around. Although honestly, I think Darby would let just about anyone throw him around if he could. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
good shit.
He did do. Sorry, he did do PWG. In fact, he had 32 matches in PWG.
Okay, I thought I was remembering correctly, so I guess I was.
There's me being like, yeah, I think he did PWG. I've seen some of these matches. I've seen his match with Chris Hero. I've seen his two really excellent matches with El Generico in PWG. So yeah, of course he did.
R.I.P. But after the match, the Death Riders then came out. Well, Gabe Kidd came out with a hoodie on. I don't know why. Everybody knew it was him, and also it's like it's not that big of a surprise. Like, he was just there. But but I like this. I thought this was really smartly booked. It made Darby look good, but it made the Death Riders look really dangerous. So Darby used them against each other and just scampered out of there and ran away. Which, I mean, maybe doesn't sound super babyface, but I mean, he already beat the shit out of Claudio, and I think it's a smart babyface tactic to kind of, use that moment to escape. I do think there's a difference between cowardly retreat and tactical retreat, right? This felt more tactical to me, and it's not like Darby's ever been like a straight laced, what is the phrase? White meat babyface, right? So.
No, I agree. I think it was sort of smart. I don't know whether I'm fully bought into Gabe Kidd as like a full member of the Death Riders, because the reports are that, like, he is fully splitting his time as if he's dual contracted with AEW and New Japan. There is a part of me that sort of says, I kind of wish that you'd just stayed in New Japan. But that's not to say that I don't like him in the Death Riders. I think he does fill an important role since Pac out.
A Pac-sized hole.
Yeah, exactly. But I all in all, great. Good sort of post match. Not to take away from any of that. I'm sort of waxing lyrical about Gabe Kidd, and I'm not entirely sure what I'm saying. But But yeah, good shit all around. Capping off what was really the more I think about it, the more I think this was probably one of the Dynamites of the year.
I thought it was really great. I feel like there was a few Dynamites I'd rate higher, but absolutely like top 10 material for me. Really strong promos and segments, really good story movement, and also a couple of 2 or 3 matches that are arguably pay-per-view level. So yeah, really good stuff. And the crowd, of course, hot.
Yeah, I think I'm sort of very susceptible to vibes in my wrestling. Like I could be shown a really great show, but if the crowd is dead and the place looks empty or whatever, I'm sort of like, well, whatever. So vibes play a big role in my sort of enjoyment of wrestling. That's why I love watching wrestling live. You can never, fully, um, you can never fully replicate the feeling of watching a live wrestling show where you haven't had anything spoiled. You don't know what's going to happen. So for me, the vibes on this show were immaculate.
Yes.
So for
I
me,
do agree with
that
vibes were very good.
that definitely adds a whole lot more to me than maybe it does for you.
Yeah, I appreciate a good crowd, but I'm very focused on the match itself, the matches themselves. I mean, certainly a good crowd will bump up a rating for me. I'm not saying it wouldn't, but there's still some stuff here that was either like, I don't know, it's all relative, right? This was a really great show. I don't have anything bad to say about it. Some nitpicky stuff maybe, but that's about it. So yeah, I'm very excited for Philly next week, and I'm sure I will be gloating and talking about it once we come back in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. I mean, when we do come back in a couple of weeks, I do fully intend to talk at least briefly about, for starters, that 8-man tag, because I'm sure there will be stuff very noteworthy coming out of it, and of course the match itself is going to be incredible, I'm sure. So I fully intend to talk at least somewhat about it.
Yeah.
So it will not be sort of a Dynamite loss to the ether in terms of this show. But yeah, as we previously mentioned, we're taking a week off, just personal circumstances. We will be back. We will be back the week after the sort of week beginning September 8th. So yeah, look forward to us then. I don't know whether there's anything left to add.
No, I don't think so. Pretty happy with that runtime, and looking forward to Philly next week. And
Yes.
they've only announced like one match, so I can't even imagine what else we're getting. I also just discovered by AEW sending me an email that I won't be there, unfortunately. I'll still be in New Hampshire, but Speedball is running a special viewing of his movie, Keeping It Kayfabe or whatever. I can't remember exactly what the title's called.
Oh
But
yeah.
So that's cool, and there's gonna be a special Q&A with him after that on Tuesday, so the day before Dynamite next week. I won't be there, unfortunately. I totally would otherwise, but that sounds cool. So go check that out if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're in the area, check it out. Let us know what it's like. But yeah, that should do it for us. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you to Justin, our producer, for putting up with all of our bullshit. Thank you to Dory for joining me as you do every single time. It's always a pleasure.
I know. I've always been described as such. Always, every time.
I'm sure. I'm sure that's what you hear. But
hey, look, I hear what I want to hear.
Ain't that the fucking truth? Sorry. Sorry, you're gonna catch me on when this episode's gonna do another 20 minutes while I run down all of your failures.
No, that's too long. There'll be too many. We'll be here all night.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have things to do. But yeah. Thank you for joining me. Thank you to everyone else. Do all the things. I don't have to keep telling you. You know what to do. But yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Thank you very much for joining us, and good night.
See, I said my dog joined us.